Passage 41 to 75 of Juz 10 starts off talking about the rules of distribution of war spoils, and then the reference to the Battle of Badr from 42 onwards. While in battle, 45 to 47 lists the specific instructions given to the Muslims to ensure their victory. Be firm. Remember Allah. Be obedient to Allah and His Messenger. Avoid conflict. Be patient in times of adversity, and keep away from pride and showing off, reminding the Prophet that despite the large numbers of the enemy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for him and the believers. 65 instructs the Prophet to urge the believers to continue to fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rest of Anfal talks about the rulings related to the POWs and rounds off the surah with emphasizing the qualities that gave success to the companions in verse 75, starting off with their iman, them migrating from Mecca to Medina, sacrificing anything and everything for the sake of their faith, their fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and finally the help, the nusra that they provided to each other, represented in the beautiful relationship and brotherhood of the Ansar and the Muhajirun. The next passage, 1 to 37, starts off Surah Tawbah with announcing the immediate or eventual termination of all treaties with the idol worshippers to bring an end to the very concept of having such treaties between Muslims and them. Ayah 17 prohibits the idol worshipper from being the caretaker of Kaaba or performing ibadah there. Reason: to rid the Kaaba and its surrounding areas of idol worship. Continuing to outline the relationship between the Muslims and other communities, 29 mentions the mandate of jizya on the people of the book, taking us to the end of this passage in 36 and 37 that talks about the corrupt practice of the mushrik to postpone the sacred months in order to serve their interests. The last passage in the juz is devoted to exposing the hypocrite, the munafiq, in the background of Tabuk in the 9th year of Hijrah, describing his attitude whenever he was called to fight or spend in the path of Islam. What he said and did, how he schemed, and all his flimsy excuses which he tried to justify in order to stay behind at the time of the expedition. The passage also highlights his attempt to hurt and insult the Prophet by accusing him in the matter of the distribution of zakah. Here is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the 8 categories that are able to receive zakah in verse 60. How he continues to take false oaths by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse 62, and then the surah warning him with the sad end of the people of past communities in 69 and 70. This then takes us to the most stern ayah in the Quran regarding the hypocrite in verse 80, where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is prohibited from making the dua for forgiveness for him, leading us to the last 3 ayahs in the juz revealed in relation to the hypocrite of Tabuk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in 91, the only ones who are permitted to stay back are the weak and the sick, the ones who lack the financial means to support the campaign or the means to go along. The blame is only on the ones who present false excuses when they are fully able to go and have no reason for staying behind. Verse 93.
من أجبت دعاء نوح فانتصر وحملته في فلكك المشحون يا من أحال النار حول خليله روحا وريحانا بقول